This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports. You're listening to TGI Sports Talk with your host Keith Angle on Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning, everybody. Keith Angle for TGI Sports Talks. Are you serious? Normally, I'd be joined by my co-host, Carlos Chavez, a mad New Yorker. He is traveling today to Nashville, Tennessee, which seems to be his second home. And we'll welcome Carlos back next week. Today, we're gonna kind of jump around a little bit. We'll address your topics. I know Alan wants to talk about the NFC East, and we'll get into that when he gets in the room. Again, we're streaming live right now on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. We'll be live on Roku at noon. Not live. We'll be plausibly live at noon on Roku. Get those Roku devices downloaded, guys. If you don't have a Roku TV or the Roku tap, they're very inexpensive, and it's a great way to watch the show on a bigger screen, right? So downloads are growing leaps and bounds. And also, when it comes to this show, please invite your friends, share, and like and follow the page yourself if you're not. Invite your friends to the page and share the shows. Also, I want to remind everybody that on the weekend of August 26th through the 28th, Northeast Streaming Sports is a big sponsor of the Dream Ride Experience. And it's great fundraiser for the home. I say this wrong every time. The Home Front, the Home Front Foundation. That's in Farmington, Connecticut. They do a lot of great work with disadvantaged kids and a lot of different things. So there'll be a lot of different events. Let me play the 30-second spot right now. We'll probably play it on the way out, and then I'll be back to say good morning to you guys, and we'll move on.
The Hometown Foundation is excited to bring back the Dream Ride Experience, August 26th to the 28th at Connecticut's Farmington Polo Club. Join us in celebrating the accomplishments of our Dream Riders while enjoying live music, a car and motorcycle show, family fun zone, pet adoptions, canine demonstrations, the Fireman's Chili Cook-Off, and much, much more. Get your tickets today.
Again, a great experience, guys. Hopefully, again, still planning on potentially taking a ride down there that Saturday of that event myself. And the Mad New Yorker is in the room this morning. He's traveling to Nashville, as I said, which appears to be his second home based on the time I hear he spends there, and his love for the Tennessee Titans, which may be his favorite football team. I'm not sure about this Mad New Yorker thing. We'll have to dive into that further. So good morning, Carlos. Good to have you here. Oh, flight pushed back. Oh, geez. Good grief. That kind of stinks. Not unusual in this day and age, but that does stink. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you get out of there soon. Dodgers pitched well to beat the Mets last night. God, I'm so tired of seeing. Wait till I get Mancini on the show. I mean, good grief. I mean, if he thinks the Pirates are better than the Dodgers based on one series, oh, we got to talk to him about that. Good morning, Dave Guyette. Good morning, Alan. There's Dave. Good morning. Good morning, Alan. Good to have you with us. And good morning, Rick Sherlock, dropping in and out from work. I'm dropping in and out probably as well, Rick. Oh, gosh. Go Yankees. You know, we're going to talk about a couple subjects today, and I may Alan wants to dive into the NFC East, which we'll do in a little bit. I want to talk about the Yankees a little bit and some potential issues lurking there. Look, as well as the Yankees are playing, and they're playing tremendous. They swept the Angels yesterday. I want to be clear for all the Yankee groups I share this to. We got to be realistic, correct? even in our excitement. Yankees playing tremendous baseball. But watch out, because the Blue Jays are starting to warm it up. They're 5.5 back. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and they're playing really good baseball. My problem with the Yankees, my worry with the Yankees, they've gotten great starting pitching. They've gotten great pitching from the defense. They've gotten great defense behind the plate, which they were not getting. And some timely hitting from Trevino. Solid play from Kiner Falefa. But I'm worried whether the Yankees can survive Joey Gallo and Aaron Hicks. Again, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here. We're concentrating on the good. I get it. They're playing great baseball. But how many teams have won a pennant, with a left fielder and a center fielder who are going to hit right now they're on a pace to hit a combined 24 home runs and drive in about 45 runs. Well, 55 runs between the two of them, and hitting less than 200. Well, Hicks is at 214. Joey Gallo is just a nightmare at 177. Dropped to the bottom of the order. Trevino, who I've said in the past, the Yankees can't carry Falefa and Trevino's bat if Gallo and Hicks aren't going to hit. They're hitting better than the two of them. Falefa's at 285. 11 what's he got? 12 RBIs. Trevino with some really big hits, as I said. Playing good defense. I think they got to make some moves. And please, I don't want to see a Brett Gardner post here. Brett Gardner's career is done. He's not coming back, and he shouldn't come back, because if he's one of the replacements here, this is not going to be any better than what we have now. Well, maybe a little bit better. And that's not disrespecting Brett Gardner, but come on, his career's over. I don't know whether it means, maybe we need to get Gleyber. Here's what I'm doing. I love Andujar. What's Andujar doing so far? Is he hitting at all? Let's find out real quick. Hasn't had a lot of at-bats. He's only got 36 at-bats. Okay, he's hitting 278. Couple doubles. This guy's a doubles machine. Get him in the lineup, which he hasn't had a regular opportunity since his rookie year, and then he got hurt. Hasn't had a position. Get Andujar in the outfield. Then we need a center fielder. Or maybe we don't. If you think we can play Aaron Judge in center field every day, I worry about wearing him down. And playing Stanton in right field, but Stanton hits better when he plays in field. We know that. I worry about him getting hurt, of course. It's much easier to find somebody to DH than it is. And maybe you find a corner outfielder or a center fielder. Go out and trade for Kylie Marte. I know it says name wrong. From Arizona at the trade deadline. Put him in center field every day. Probably put him at the top of the lineup if you want, or put him at the bottom of the lineup. I don't care. I'm going to get better production out of him than I am the two guys I'm just talking about. Something's got to happen here. We are going to talk about Fitz's retirement, Rick. I did have on my list. Sorry, I didn't go down. We'll talk about Fitz's retirement, and then we'll jump into some of the Alan's comments about the East. Look at, it does sound like a canceled TV show, and it should be canceled now. And will the Yankees be okay? Yankees will be fine. I'm not saying this is, look at, the sky's not falling here. But you come playoff time, these guys can't be playing. They're automatic outs. This needs to be addressed. I don't care. Tell me that Joey Gallo gives me walks and Joey Gallo gives me good defense. That's not what I paid Joey Gallo for. I can bring in somebody else who can hit 250 and do the same thing. And I'm going to get better production. 5 home runs and 15 RBIs. What's he got? No, that's Donaldson. 5 homers and 7 RBIs, guys. 7 RBIs. It's June 3rd. God. Oh, my God. Do you think the Yankees can beat 96? Well, they can right now, Dave. They're on a pace to do that easily. My concern, again, is going to be going forward. Pitching staff stays healthy, which they have for the most part. Got some injuries with Loizaga and Chapman in the bullpen, but the bullpen has pitched well. King's pitched well. Green being out will hurt them. I like everything about this Yankee team except these two guys. Something's got to change. I love that line. I love that. That's why the Rangers weren't sad when he left. Well, give him back. I told you we'd give him back for free. We're going to have to release this guy. The Mets can release Robinson Cano. The Yankees can release Joey Gallo. They're not going to find a home for him. Ketel Marte. Thank you, Chiefs. I couldn't get my head around that. Fortunately, I always have somebody to help me out. Gosh, Hussein, thanks for coming in, but I'm not going to do an ad here for your sportswear company. I'm sorry. You guys want to pay rates to get mentions? I'll give you a free one right now. That's all you get. I can't say your first name. I'm going to call you Hussein. I'm sorry. But I'll pay you. You guys want to pay some very reasonable rates. I'll get your stuff on here, but you're constantly posting your ads, and I'm not gonna do that. I apologize. They're better than last season. I agree. And again, for all the Yankee fans out there who will see this on the groups I share, I'm not necessarily dooming and glooming here. They're much better than last year. I just said the defense behind the plate, the defense at shortstop, the timely hitting, and the better fundamental baseball that I'm seeing for the most part. But I'm seeing two holes in the lineup, giant holes in places you can't have them. I don't know that I can expect Kiner Falefa and Trevino to hit 280, 275 even the entire season. I can't have four holes in a lineup. I can have two, especially when I got Judge on fire, Stanton on fire. Anthony Rizzo still with a very low batting average, but he's still producing. Take a look at his OPS, 787, which isn't tremendous, but compared to Gallo's at 590. Your left fielder that you're paying $1 gazillion, this guy is just a hole. Listen, it doesn't take home runs to get RBIs. Joey Gallo also had 2 doubles. So very, very depressing. I don't know what the answer is, but again, I think I've given you one of them. Andujar needs to play left field. Get him out of there for defensive purposes. You shouldn't have got rid of guys like Tyler Wade, by the way. I'd rather play Tyler Wade every day in the outfield than these two guys. Maybe they'll give Floria a bigger chance if he gets healthy. He's 0 for 11 for the year, but maybe LaCastro plays well. He doesn't play bad defense. He's fast. Fastest guy in the team, probably. You got Andujar. You got Marwin Gonzalez. He can play everywhere. He's not lighting it up with the bat either. Good guy off the bench, but I don't want to see him playing every day. I think Andujar, and we find a center fielder. Marte would be my guy. Only problem I see with the Yankees. Let's move on. The next topic, and Alan, I'm going to bring you. If you want to come in, Alan, I will send you the link. If you want to come on and do this live, I'll send you the link to do this little NFC thing. Since Carlos couldn't make it with us today, where's my Ryan Fitzpatrick retires after 17 years in the NFL. Now, there's some guys who love Fitzy, right? I don't. He had a very nice career. 17 years playing out of Harvard. And I mean, what's his legacy? Is he the best Ivy League player ever? I don't think he's even that. Let's see. I had a little, if I was going to rank Ivy League players, Matt Burke, 187 career starts, I think would be the first guy that I thought of. Reggie Williams, longtime linebacker with the Bengals, great player out of Dartmouth. Burke was out of Harvard as well. Gary Fensick, defensive back from Yale, great player with the Bears, played with that tremendous 85 team. Then Fitzpatrick comes in there, but you got Calvin Hill out of Yale as well. Great player with the Cowboys and the Redskins. Sorry, I'm not paying this time. They were the Redskins then. Nick Lowry from Dartmouth, great kicker for the Chiefs. George Stark, nice offensive lineman for the Redskins. Steve Jordan, really good tight. I'm ranking all these guys. All these guys are above Fitzpatrick so far. Dick Duran, defensive back out of Yale, 25 career interceptions. Jay Fiedler. Listen, I don't think Jay Fiedler was any worse a quarterback or any better or worse a quarterback than Ryan Fitzpatrick. Pete Gogolak was out of Cornell, played with the Giants and the Buffalo Bills. Defensive back Kenny Hill. Pat McElhaney, punter. It's an interesting guy besides. Desmond Bryant. Probably the best quarterback to come out of the and you guys can give me your comments about Fitzy. Listen, he filled a need for teams when they needed a quarterback. I had his career stats up here. Where the heck did they go? It disappeared on me. Here it is. No, that's not it either. Damn it. I had his stats up here. There he is. Ryan Fitzpatrick, one team he played with that had a winning season, 10-6 with the Jets in 2015. Team didn't make the playoffs, by the way. I don't believe, maybe I'm wrong, and I don't see it here. Ryan Fitzpatrick in 17 years never played in a playoff game. Career record as a starting quarterback, 59, 87, and 1. Oh, gosh. 223 touchdowns. Surprisingly enough, only 169 interceptions. So, listen, you want to look at just pure numbers. He's a better quarterback than Joe Namath. But that's a stupid thing to say, right? He's not. So, Ryan Fitzpatrick, congratulations on a 17-year career with less talent than a lot of guys who didn't play that long. Coming from a school and a league without great tradition, although there were some really good players that I just ran off here. And let's see what we got here. Fitzmagic fizzles out. Yeah, you know what? The Fitzmagic thing, I never understood. Fitz would have this habit of coming in someplace, playing great for 3 or 4 games. The team would go off to a great start, and he would fade, or the team would fade. By the way, I forgot to mention, I did say he had one winning season. He was 4-3 with the Dolphins in 2020. But, look, that's 7 games. In a full season, he had one season. By the way, one season with more than 6 wins, much less a winning record. The more I dove into Fitz, I wanted to give him more credit today. I really did. But it's amazing he's been able. And again, I'm not saying he was the only problem on these teams, right? Okay, we're going to bring Alan in a little while and do the NFC East thing. Gave the Jets their last winning season, and what they get? That's it. That's his crowning achievement of his career. Is he gave the Jets a 10-6 season without going to playoffs? By the way, nice quarterback. It only took 6 snaps for the name redacted. Listen, they're better off without him. We'll talk about that in a little bit, Alan. Make sure you have a good internet connection, too, by the way. And you got a big shoes to fill with Mad New Yorker watching your debut. NFL training camps do start. No rest for the NFL training camps, right? They go constantly. No rest for the NFL training camps. No rest for the NFL news. NFL does the best job keeping themselves in the news year-round than anybody. We just finished the OTAs. We'll be starting training camp in a month. We got water today, guys. I got to go for some blood work. I wanted to get there at 7, and I was trying to get ready for the show. I had some work stuff to do. All right, let's see. Pressure's on you, buddy. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, yes, look, congratulations, 17 years. Not a lot of guys do that. I mean, the average lifespan of an NFL player is less than 5 years still, I would say. I would say the average lifespan of an Ivy League NFLer is probably much less if you add them all together. I forgot Ed Marinaro, by the way, when I mentioned Ivy Leaguers. Went to Colgate, set records, and NCAA records in rushing when he was there. And he had a okay career with the Vikings, and I think he might have played a season with the Jets, if I remember right. Became an actor. As I start to try to line up some new interviews, I've got Ed Marinaro on my list. Fitz is the Gardner of the NFL. I don't even know if I'd give him that. Only because he didn't play in good teams ever. Gardy, again, he played for the Yankees. I get it. So I got to say, I would have to say Gardy contributed to winning situations, successful situations, better than Fitz. Just a thought. A couple other notes real quick. I should have led off with this, by the way. The Celtics beat the Bucks. The War. Celtics are to beat the Bucks. Celtics beat the Warriors last night. What an interesting game. I had to go to bed. I was falling asleep after the third quarter. And the Warriors had annihilated them in the third quarter. And I thought, this game's out of reach. They're not coming back. And they outscored them 40-16, I think, the Celtics did in the fourth quarter last night for a big game 1 victory out west. So, Steph Curry was on fire early. I love the Warriors. I love Steve Kerr. I love Steve Curry, but I just wonder if they rely a little too much. If they rely a little too much on Steph Curry. Klay Thompson, great player, still not what he was. Some good role players there. Draymond Green, he's on the downside. Booker, I like. There's some other good players there, but this team's now in trouble. You can't. It's hard to lose game 1 at home. It's a hard thing to come out of. The Avs also won last night, take a 2-1 lead over the Oilers. I don't care about terrible offensive lines. He had a lot of choices of teams he went to play with, and his career record speaks for itself. Listen, we're back to Fitzpatrick, I know. That fat bastard, who I can't stand, a great coach, horrible person, who I'm sure all you New York guys love. You Giants and Jets fans love Bill Parcells. He turned my team around in the 90s. But he's not a good guy. But he is a good coach. And he said famously, you are what your record says you are. Ryan Fitzpatrick says he's 31 games under 500 for his career. He didn't help those teams win either. Stop, I will give you the benefit of the doubt and tell you he didn't play behind the best offensive lines. I don't care. I'm evaluating his career. Archie Manning didn't play behind great offensive lines. Ran for his life his entire career. Didn't make the Hall of Fame because of it. Wiggins, I like too. Wiggins has played very, very well for the Warriors, and they do probably need to get the ball a little bit more. Celtics were unbeaten on the road going into last night. Well, they're still unbeaten on the road. I think you're talking in the playoffs as well, right? Yeah, it's playoff wise. Yeah, so listen, these series start, they say, when the home team loses a game. Well, this series started fast because home team lost. On the flip side, the Avs beat the Edmonton Oilers last night, take a 2-0 lead in the NHL. And the Rangers just demolished the defending champion Lightning at home on Wednesday night. So a great start to the series for the Rangers. We'll see how they play now that their backs aren't to the wall. This entire series, they've never led a series until the last game. This entire NHL Stanley Cup playoff series. And they played better with their backs to the wall. So we'll see what happens. But this was nobody expected this offensive explosion out of the Rangers the other night. I thought this entire series, would be a low-scoring event. And so far not. Good morning to my dad, Bob Engel, and probably my stepmom, Jen, is there as well, I'm sure. Oh, Poole. Yeah, Poole. I like Poole, by the way, Carlos. So anyway, couple odds and ends there. Let's jump in, and let me put in, I got to do this first for Alan. Carlos, you want to come in? That's fine too, I guess. You can. I don't know if you have the ability. We can try to put you on here. If I'd known you're going to be available in the airport, we might have done this. I don't know. Maybe you can't because of where you're at. But I'm going to put this in the chat, Alan, so you can click that link. Oh shit! I got to get rid of a banner. I got too many banners. Oh wait. I was going to put in the comments, right? My bad. All right. So you can click there, Alan. And Carlos, I should have put this up. If you're available, you can certainly jump in. If you can't, no problem. I think what we want to jump into a little bit, we've talked about this a lot, and we're going to talk a lot more about the NFL. But I guess to kick off our NFL conversations for the real 2022 season, we're going to talk a little bit about the NFC East, maybe the AFC East a little bit. We'll see what we have time for here. Alan's a big Cowboy fan. I'm not a NFC East fan at all, but I do like the team formerly known as the Redskins. I'm not sold on the Eagles. Probably the best team is the Cowboys for sure, but because they've got the best quarterback, but they always find a way to kind of screw it up. They had a great regular season last year. And we'll talk a little bit about I can't find my banner. There we go. So, Alan, if you want to jump in, if not, we'll talk about this in comments, however you want to do this. That link should take you to where you can log in. Carlos, if you're available and you want to jump in, you can surely feel free to do that. And we'll go from there. So, I don't know. Alan's got a big smile on his face, so I don't know if I want to bring him in. We don't like happy people on this show, but I'll bring him in and welcome him to this first live appearance on TGI Sports Talk. And certainly, are you serious? So, good morning, Alan. You're not driving, I hope.
Oh, no. I just got home, so
all right.
My roommate's asleep now, so I kind of have to be outside for this.
So, Alan, you and all of you viewers, so from time to time I've done this, especially when I've been maybe on my own on a Friday morning, I put the link up. And that's how Carlos and I actually hooked up to do the show, was he clicked on the link one day when I was on my own. And this is a good audition for you guys to maybe, when we do these shows, pop in and we can have these debates face-to-face, as it were. And so I welcome you in this morning, Alan, and I'll try to, don't be nervous. It's, there's only, I don't know, 5 million people watching you right now. I wish that were true.
No pressure, right?
When maybe Joe Rogan's sending his audience over, we'll have 5 million. So Al, now we have to, in full disclosure, we have to say you are a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Correct.
Yes, very much so.
All right. So we've talked about the NFC East. I know that I've really talked up, and I did last year, in all fairness, in full disclosure, I talked up the Redskins / Commodores. Sorry, it'll cost me a fortune here. Last year, I thought that was the best team in the division because of their defense. The big problem with the team this year or last year, and that they have to fix this year, is that defense. The offense has got plenty of, I think, skill position players. If they get play out of the quarterback, which I can say for 3 out of these teams, I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts. Nobody's sold on Daniel Jones. You've got the best quarterback. I do think that the team formerly known as the Redskins can compete for this division title with your Cowboys and whomever else might rise up. What are your thoughts, Alan?
Well, I think, honestly, any team in the NFC East can compete for the division. And I know that sounds strange, given that Carlos has been bashing the Giants for a while. But if you look, if Daniel Jones plays really well, then the Giants are going to be in it too, because they just drafted their star edge rusher in Kayvon Thibodeau. He's going to have a great year, I feel.
Yeah.
That defense is going to be much improved. If Saquon's healthy, they're going to have a good running game. And if the receivers can actually get in the end zone, they'll actually be scoring points.
Well, I actually agree with you, because I have commented too that this division is wide open. I agree with you 100%. And that's why I think the Redskins certainly have a chance. So continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And it's like you said, the Washington's biggest struggle is mainly going to be in their secondary and their linebacking core. That front four is going to be fine. As long as Chase Young is healthy, that front four is going to be fine. I want to wait a bit on their offensive weapons because we haven't really seen Jahan Dotson yet. Terry McLaurin, as we know, is a pretty good receiver. Logan Thomas, I feel, is an underrated tight end. He's done pretty well. Antonio Gibson could have a good year this year. And I will go on a record and say their offensive line is the best in the division, right as of right now.
Sounds like a pretty good.
But like I said, I think. Well, I would say Dallas has the second best, but we've been having problems in the interior lately, so who knows how that's going to play out. And of course, Zeke not running the ball well, and them not giving Tony Pollard any kind of option at all to run the ball.
Well,
which I feel they need to do more of.
Yeah, I agree definitely. I mean, Zeke is either hurt or banged up, or it seems like he wants to take days off, a little like Kyrie Irving from time to time. You got 2 guys like that. You should use both of them in today's NFL. Pollard to me is more explosive than Zeke as well, and I think he's just a guy that you're right. The Cowboys need to utilize him better. It isn't just running the football. Maybe they get the ball more to him in the passing game too.
And I know that's what they've been trying to do. And the one problem that they've had over the course of the years is Tyron Smith's health. Him being in and out of the lineup has not helped the left side of the line. And consistently having to switch the left guard between Connor McGovern and Connor Williams has not helped. The fact that the Cowboys' offensive line was the most penalized offensive line in the league last year didn't help either.
Right. Well, they've made some steps to try to improve that line. I mean, Dallas Cowboys were known for a lot of their, maybe not some of their worst years, but through much of their history to have, one of the best offensive lines in all of football year in and year out. That's been one of their fortes throughout their history. Right.
And it goes all the way back to when Jimmy Johnson built the championship offense back in the 90s. They had they ran it off a great offensive line. It's the same thing that they've done over the course of the last few years. However, they're just going to have to rebuild it now.
Yeah, this entire
Tyron Smith
Go ahead.
Yeah, Tyron Smith's getting old. Who knows how long he's going to have left? You still got the question at left guard. They did bring in Tyler Smith from the draft, but for some reason he was the most penalized offensive lineman in this draft, so that also doesn't help matters much. But I'm also excited for the defensive players that we got. Sam Williams at Ole Miss looks really good from what I've seen of him.
Well, to me, this division, again, as close as it is, Cowboys have the best talent in my mind, but it comes down to two things: coaching and quarterback play. Now, I'll give the Cowboys the benefit of doubt when it comes to having the best quarterback in the division. Right now, they do. Whether they do when the season ends, that's why we play the games. But from a coaching standpoint, I don't know what Brian Daboll can bring. I'm still not sold on Kamini from the Eagles. He's done a great job last year, obviously, but how well he will be as a coach this year depends on how well his quarterback plays. And I'm not sold on McCarthy, who just doesn't. Look, for a guy who's won a Super Bowl and had really good teams in Green Bay, this guy just doesn't. There feels to be something missing connection-wise between him and this team. And maybe it's just because the front office is so involved that connection just can't happen. What are your thoughts on your coach and the rest of the coaches throughout this division?
McCarthy makes me second guess whether or not he should be the head coach every time I watch a coach, which that shouldn't have happened if you're watching this team, because they're supposed to be by default the best team in the division talent-wise, and yet the amount of questionable play calling that McCarthy has made throughout the last couple of years that he's been in charge has been what kind of held us back a little bit. Not saying that it's entirely on him. Most of it's on, like I said, they're the most penalized team last year. The discipline issues. They had a poor defense a couple years ago. That's been improving. But yeah, most Cowboy fans will tell you outright that they blame Mike McCarthy. That or Jerry Jones, one of the two.
Well, to me, until Jerry Jones is a real football guy to run the team, they're not going to win. And as far as coaching, back to the coaching, you also have to coach in practice game end situations. And I blamed, and you've heard me do it, and I know you have defended him, Dak Prescott's decision making at the end of their playoff loss, the clock management and what he did with the football on that very last play where they had a chance to get back in that game. To me, I blame Dak for that and not having the wherewithal to know what to do in that situation. But it also comes down to coaching, because those are the situations good coaches cover relentlessly in practice. Guys know instinctively. They don't have to think about what to do with the football. You get up, you hand it to the official. End of story. And not practicing that type of situation could be part of the problem there. And again, I know I've harped a lot on that one play, but that one play was the defining moment of your season.
Exactly. And like you've experienced it with Bill Belichick in New England. He usually does all the fundamental stuff first and then goes over the playbook last. So it's like you said, it all comes down to fundamentals, and that's why Ron Rivera is the best coach in the division, because he does that kind of thing. And I know I've seen a little bit out of Nick Sirianni, which is why I kind of like Philly to win the East this year, because of the talent that they have around Jalen Hurts. But as you said, it's going to come down to the quarterbacks for all four teams. It's going to come down to whether or not Jalen Hurts can play well, Carson Wentz can play well, Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott. It's going to be up for grabs. Which
this
is the kind of season I want.
Listen, don't. I don't know that Carson Wentz is necessarily going to be the quarterback there. I thought it was a strange move because I don't think he's any better than Heineke myself. I think Heineke he didn't have a bad season last year. He didn't have a Hall of Fame season by any means, but he had some really good games. His numbers would be really good if you threw out about two games. I know you can't do that, obviously, but I don't think Heineke's a bad NFL quarterback. And if they play the defense the way this team was projected to play it last year, and I still think they can pick it up and play, and they do have the best coach in the division, which I totally agree with. I think this team can be competitive. Gibson is a really good weapon out of the backfield. You mentioned the guys at wide receiver who I think are very good, and they're underrated tight end. To me, there's enough offense there in this division to score enough points to be very competitive, and it's going to come down to that defense. And I think that, I don't know that it'll take 12 wins like the Cowboys had last year to win this division. It might only take 10. Because these teams are going to be very evenly matched, and I do think the Giants will step up forward this year a bit as well.
Well, I do think the only reason that they can get more than 10 wins is because they had to play both the NFC. They have to play the NFC South this year, so the AFC South. My bad. So that'll at least net a couple wins there with the Texans and the Jaguars. So, I also want to mention Philly's defense because I don't think they're getting enough credit. You look at who they have on their defense. You got Darius Slay, who's still a shutdown corner. Now you have James Bradbury on the other side. They drafted Jordan Davis. Davis is going to be side by side with Fletcher Cox. That's a scary duo to have to deal with. And when he gets healthy, you got Nakobe Dean on the outside. That's going to be a scary defense to go against. And let's not forget the guy that they traded for in round one, A.J. Brown, made that offense pretty dynamic now.
Yeah, and again, a lot of teams have put together a lot of star power, and it doesn't all come together. But on paper, the Eagles are certainly a lot better. And maybe talent-wise, maybe they are closing the gap on the Cowboys. The quarterback, again, is a big difference maker there for me. Carl's did mention here that the Cowboys had lost a lot of talent at wide receiver, but they still got some talented guys out there as well. What are your thoughts about the Cowboys?
Yeah, definitely. CeeDee Lamb, I watched him play in college. I got the opportunity to watch both him and Jalen Hurts play. And he's if you can get him the ball in open space, he is just an electrifying player to watch. Same with Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup's going to be a deep threat for them. And they'll be curious to see how Jalen Tolbert does, their 4th-round pick that they got, I believe, out of Tulsa, I want to say. I'm not quite sure where they got him.
I think you're right. Listen, it's funny.
I've been hearing good things about him.
Yeah, sorry, Carlos had one good line here. He's talking about the division the quarterbacks in the division sound like a USFL roster. I don't think it's that bad, Carlos. There's no Dak Prescott's in the USFL, and there's not even a Tyler Heineke in the USFL in my mind.
Some people still have Dak Prescott ranked in the top 10 of quarterbacks, which kind of blows my mind a little bit, but I still have him maybe 10 or 11 in that group. I wouldn't put him in the top 10 necessarily, but I think he's still good enough to get the Cowboys to a playoff, maybe get a playoff win or two, but who knows? I think this is going to be a prove-it year for him because he needs to step up and get this team to a Super Bowl, and I think Jerry wants that to happen, which
I'm going to go on here. And
he's been stressing for this for 25 years.
Good. We got a delay, and I keep stepping on you. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Back on Washington, I really don't understand why they brought Carson Wentz in because I did like Taylor Heineke. I mean, he did beat Tom Brady 1-on-1 this past season, so that's
Almost,
like the one big notch on his resume.
almost beat him
The big
Or
drop offs for him though. Exactly, the two big drop offs for him were getting blown out in Dallas and getting blown out by Philadelphia,
yeah.
which you can't really lose that badly to your division rival if you expect to keep the starting job.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that the NFC East has a chance. I'm not saying they will. I think they have a chance to get 3 teams in the playoffs because I think you could see 11 and 10 wins out of the team formerly known as the Redskins, the Cowboys, and the Eagles if they all play up to their potential. And that will give them a chance with the expanded playoffs to get 3 teams in the playoffs in my mind.
See, the way I had it, or about a month ago, I had the Eagles winning the division and the Cowboys and Commanders both getting a wild card spot. So
I am going to pick the Redskins.
Look at the rest. I mean, yeah, I kind of expected that, but and you look at the rest of the NFC and you see, who else is going to take the step up? Are the Vikings going to be good? Are the Lions going to step up? What's going to happen in the NFC West with the Cardinals and the 49ers? We all know the Rams are going to be there. We know that the Bucks are going to be there. Are the Saints going to get better? We don't know who's all going to step up. So this is a chance for the NFC East to kind of like take a little bit of that power back that they had back in the day.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I kind of think, as you just said, the order of finish could be different. I do think that they've got a chance to get 3 teams in the playoffs here. Real quick, and before I let you go, you had made a comment. You had made a comment about the Carlos being down on both his teams. That's why I think he's really a Titans fan, because he talks better about the Titans than he ever does about the Jets or the Giants. He doesn't even have the Jets doing anything in the AFC East. I say both New York teams. So we'll talk a second about just the New York teams, because we have a lot of New York fans here in the audience. I think both these teams, especially the Jets, are heading in the right direction. The Jets have done everything correct the way they should build a franchise. You should build a franchise. They've got a franchise quarterback. Carlos wants to write him off after year 1 because he gives everybody else a pass for playing behind a bad offensive line, but not Zach Wilson. No idea why. But now Douglas has had 2 great drafts. Their defense is getting better and better. They've improved the skill positions. They've got better tight ends for Wilson, and every quarterback needs a safety valve, a tight end or running back or somebody to get the ball to when plays break down. I think the Jets are heading in the right direction. I'm not saying they're competing for a playoff spot this year, but they're going to be a much better team. And a year from now, they're going to be competing for the playoffs. And the Giants, it all depends on what they got at quarterback, but I think the Jets are heading in the right direction myself.
I agree. I think I've been kind of following the Jets here and there every so often, just kind of peeking at what they've got. And the Robert Saleh coming in and kind of changing the culture there kind of spurring that team into the right direction. Of course, you still got to deal with Buffalo. You still got to deal with New England. Miami's gotten better. But I think you're right. I think the Jets are going to be on the up, and get a couple more pieces there in New York. I think the Jets can compete for that division eventually.
Listen, a year from now, not this season, but next season and going forward, you're going to be talking about the AFC East and the NFC East as being the 2 best divisions, the most competitive divisions for sure in all of football, in my mind.
I'll go out on the limb on this too. Much like you said with the Jets possibly improving within the next year or so, look out for Detroit. With the way that they've drafted this year, Aiden Hutchinson, Jamison Williams, I know that was kind of a blow to some people, especially Packers fans who wanted him. But Dan Campbell, had the pleasure of watching him as a tight end here in Dallas, and the way he coached this team, the way he's led and got his players fighting for him, that's the kind of culture that Detroit has not had in a very, very long time.
Good
And
point.
I'm excited to see how they can build that team
Good point. Well, if they bite enough kneecaps or whatever he said there that time, maybe they'll get better faster. Quarterback's going to be a problem there, probably. But look at that division. I think, the Packers, I think, are going to take a step backwards. Of course, I thought that last year as well. This could be a wide open division, not maybe this year, but the year after, because the Bears are going to get better as well. I'm a big believer in Fields. I think he'll be fine as soon as they surround him with enough players. I think this will be a competitive division as well here in a year or so. All
They
right.
just need to give Fields an offensive line because you can't have him running for it every day.
No, he'll get killed, and they can't have that. Yes, they got to protect. You got to protect any young quarterback, and I think again the Jets have taken steps to do that with Wilson. So, listen, Alan, great to have you come in with us today and fill some time. I mean, I even got the chance to take some shots at Carlos when he's not even here, so this is perfect.
I'll always get the opportunity to take those shots, don't you?
All right. Listen, I'm going to let you go. You go have a great weekend, and we'll talk more, I'm sure, over the weekend during the shows. And we'll talk more about your Rangers.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And we'll talk more about your Rangers on Sunday.
Of course, yeah. Hopefully they can bounce back to 500 again.
We'll see where they are on Sunday. We'll talk to you then. Have a good weekend, Alan.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye. All right, so we had Alan, and that was fun. We get one of our most avid fans of the show. So thanks for coming in, Alan, and spend some time here on TGI Sport Talks All You're Serious. Talk a little bit about the NFC East. We got a few minutes left, so we can whatever topics might still be lingering out there for any of you, we can certainly jump into. I talked kind of what I had on my mind. Let's see what else is in the news this morning that we can chat about for a minute before we go. Oh, gosh, the world of sports. There's always stuff going on. Nike, Phil Knight, looking to buy the Blazers. That's an interesting development. They say they're not for sale, which is a problem, I guess. But Phil Knight does want to apparently get into the NBA. Let's see. Well, that's not a fun story, so we're not going to talk about that one, unfortunately. Jim Cott, who's, gosh, in his 80s. I love Jim Cott. Jim Cott was a great pitcher for a lot of years. Pitched and did pitch with the Yankees for a partial season, but did a lot of announcing for the Yankees. One of the best baseball announcers I think I've seen. He's got himself in a bit. He's got himself in a bit of a quandary because during a he's doing some announcing now for the Twins, and after I think Chris Archer had struck out Miguel Cabrera in a game between the Twins and the Tigers, he got talking about Nestor Cortez with the Yankees. And he used the term Nestor the molester. Angles and different speed, he's a pitcher. Now, I mean, I'm sure he could have come up with a better... he's taken a lot of heat for this. And I think he could have come up with a better description. But my gosh, come on, guys. Why are we so sensitive to everything? I understand it's a negative connotation, but he's not saying that Nestor's a molester. It's a phrase that's been used for forever. And he meant it actually as a compliment. Now, I'm not saying he should use this. I'm not saying anybody should use it. Obviously, the connotations are not good. But he's just using it as a euphemism, And again, he could have used better words, but he's 83 years old. I have a slip of the tongue now and again and say something that I go, oh, that's not going to sound very good. But should we be judged on every single thing that comes out of our mouth? There was no ill will meant here. And please, if I'm the Twins, let's not think about taking Jim Cott off of games, because he's a great, great ambassador for baseball, and he knows how this game should be played. And for one stupid remark, I mean, it wasn't like he was calling him a molester. Oh, just frustrates me. Oh, anyway, let me move on from that. I just caught that story this morning, and it kind of ticked me off. And I understand it's not the best thing you should say, but who else? What else is going on in the world here? I don't have a whole lot else to talk about. We only got a few minutes left anyway. We'll wrap this up with another playing of the Dream Ride video. But we got some good stuff going on in sports this weekend. We got the continuation of the Rangers and the defending champion Lightning. We'll have I can't believe that the NBA doesn't play again until Sunday night. I mean, what do they want this series to go 2 weeks? Oh my gosh. Why you gotta have 3 nights between games? I don't get it. You'll have who the Yankees got this weekend, by the way. Mets are going out west. That's a good topic to chat about for just a second. The Mets are heading out west for a tough road trip. When does that start? Does that start today? Let's see. Where are the Mets at? Yeah, the Mets are at the Dodgers. The Mets have the Giants, and the Mets have the Padres, I know, in the next week or so. So very, very big series for the Mets. We're going to get a good gauge on where the Mets are, I think, after this road trip. And I do think they're a very good team, as you know. I think Buck has done a great job positioning this team. They're playing game by game. They're not looking ahead. They could have had a bad week this week with some of the issues they've had with injuries and looking ahead to this big road trip and being able to prove themselves. But they just took care of business. They're beating the teams they need to beat. That's how you win in baseball. I hear people deriding the Mets because of the teams they've had to play. Everybody's going to play the same teams all year during the course of the year. Pretty much the same number of times. There's a very balanced schedule in Major League Baseball. Not perfectly balanced, but pretty balanced. You can only play the teams they put on your schedule. And the Mets are beating, and you're supposed to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And the Mets have done that. So stop deriding them for the schedule that they're playing. Where are the Yankees going this week? Yankees have got the Tigers, the disappointed Detroit Tigers at home. So Yankees with a chance to continue these hot waves. Remember what I talked about at the top of the show. We'll see whether the Yankees, what they do. Trade deadline is late July. Teams will be making moves. I promise you, in June, you're going to start seeing players move around. The Yankees need to be aggressive. Go out and get a center fielder, maybe Marte from Arizona, as I said. Some other possibilities we will talk about in the coming weeks on this show and my Sunday Stream of Consciousness for sure. Join me in a few minutes on Mac and Jack. We'll have a vlog for you later on. And we'll see you Sunday with the Stream of Consciousness. Keith Engel, TGI Sports Talk. And are you serious? We did miss Carlos today. Carlos, travel safe to Nashville. And we'll see you guys on the flip side. Keith Engel, TGI Sports Talk, right here on the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. Have a great weekend.
The Hometown Foundation is excited to bring back the Dream Ride experience, August 26th to the 28th at Connecticut's Farmington Polo Club. Join us in celebrating the accomplishments of our Dream Riders while enjoying live music, a car and motorcycle show, family fun zone, pet adoptions, canine demonstrations, the Fireman's Chili Cook-Off, and much, much more. Get your tickets today.